Hey guys, we're back on figures this week with another one of Hasegawa's 1/12 scale figures. This time we're looking at least at the time of recording this, one of their most recent releases with China Dress. Let's open her on up and take a look. As I mentioned in previous videos, I do like the amount of care Hasegawa takes in packaging these, as resin can be on the brittle side, especially for some of the finer detail pieces. So the fact that they continue to really do a good job packing is a big plus. So let's start off right away with the main torso part. Now, one thing I immediately notice is that some of the resin here on the skirt is very thin and is actually somewhat translucent. So that's something to be aware of. And that's not a great sign. Obviously, when resin is translucent, it means it's very thin, and this is getting to the point where I would say extra handling care will be needed just to make sure you don't accidentally break something. I'm also not super thrilled with how they divided the skirt here, as that's going to leave a pretty significant seam line right there. We'll take a look at the other skirt part in a few seconds, but yeah, I'm not super thrilled with that. Similarly, I also notice here on the hair another very thin spot up here towards the top. Hopefully this is showing up well on camera. But yeah, it also similarly in that spot, there's a bit of a mold line or some type of imperfection. Other than that, I mean, the sculpting is very good. Even down here on the underside of the hair, now they do try to capture as much detail as they can. But overall, not super thrilled. Now, part of the reason I think they may have done the split on the dress is for the leg parts here. And if we just do a quick little test fit, I would say definitely the right leg seems to be the weaker of the fit of the two from when I was doing initial sort of testing off camera. Hopefully that shows up. But my only guess is that they did skirt like this make it easier so you're not having a rubbing along the sides when you go to add the legs. Now, as I mentioned before, here's that front skirt part. Now, unfortunately, I can't get it super clear, as they did leave a fair amount of pore stubs. Now, I do like that they undergated. That I like. I think that's a smart move, even with these upper pore bits still being there, but I do like that. What I don't like is also that they left the front part of her underwear as attached there. So now you get a fairly odd seam. It's going to be a bear to clean up right here in the crotch area, unfortunately. No other way to sugarcoat it. And similarly, cleaning up around the dress is going to take some doing. Now, the arms. This is another area where they didn't do a great job. The fit is not very good. In fact, I would even say you might want to fill in a little of this area just to give it a little more support to get the alignment right, especially here on the left arm, as the fit on this one is really not great. If you allow it to sit fully down, it's out of alignment. So it's definitely going to need some backfilling. That is something to be aware of. One bright spot on this kit, however, is the face. The face, it's the same level of quality they've been doing, which thankfully they did a great job. They did still keep a little bit of hair attached to it, so that is going to require some masking, but compared to some of the others, it's not as much. Now, moving on to the instructions. Again, pretty basic kit. Straightforward build, just attaching the arms, legs, skirt, and face. Include pain key. Overall, not a whole lot there. Now, give me 2 seconds to get everything back in, and I'll give my closing thoughts. So, overall, what do I think? Of the 12 scale figures from Hasegawa that we've looked at, I have to say this is arguably the weakest of them. It's got the most amount of cleanup that's going to be needed. It's got biggest fit issues of the ones we've looked at. I also think they dropped the ball by not including some type of decal option for use on the dress. I think that could have just elevated it just that hair bit more and made it a little more interesting. So, granted, these are issues that are more than fixable, but just in terms of comparison to the other ones in this line, it's not as good. So that was a look at Hasegawa's 1/12 scale China dress figure. One that had a lot of potential, but really just does not measure up to the rest of the ones in the series. So until next time.